Hey everybody, Kelly, Flip with Kelly coming at you today. How's everybody doing today on this glorious Sunday? Um, Life is precious and it's a gift, ain't it? To be alive and breathing 6 foot above surface sea level. Today I want to talk to you about the best ways to get started wholesaling, or the most effective ways, however you want to put it. So the earliest beginnings of my journey that I can trace back to is my grandpa used to be like a master carpenter. So, maybe as far as what I can remember anyways, because the great grandpas, they don't really remember them. But and maybe they had something to do with it too. So hats off to you guys. But my grandpa, he according to my dad, he's like a master carpenter. I do remember him as a kid working, as doing carpentry. He was a dairy farmer, actually, was his main way. But and then he did work on the roads a little bit too, when they had road crews going through. He never did any more than he had to. But in order to get by, you got to take work sometimes as you get it. So, but yeah, he would build like a real complicated truss system at his house by hand, and then take piece by piece by piece over to the job, and it would all just fit together just like perfectly. So he just was an extremely intelligent carpenter. And I remember some other things growing up. Sawmill and whatnot, but and then my dad, he got into rentals, and got little. How you doing today, buddy? My dad got into rentals. I actually helped him find some rentals through what was the trading post back in the day. That's no longer here, but. So I got involved with rentals when I was younger with my dad, and eventually got into first house I ever bought was a mobile home, trailer house, and in order to help pay for things, I got some roommates, so that would be the house hacking thing. So that's kind of how I got my start in it, I guess, as far as buying something and real estate personally. After seeing and helping my dad with stuff over the years. So I had roommates. Some of the roommates were cleaner than others, so some of them had to get after a little bit and, clean up after yourself type of thing. And so you could house hack nowadays. That would be a great way to get started. And you can get, depends on how many rooms you got, right? So how many bedrooms, or maybe somebody's got to sleep on the couch. Put some curtains up, some divider walls. You can stud up a wall if you want to split a room. Maybe you got a huge living room. Stud a wall, put a door in it. Put some sheetrock on there. So there's another bedroom. Make sure things are up to code. You got a closet in there for them. Whatever's legal, right? If you want to have a window, just kind of figure it out. But so house hacking is a great way to get started. And then from there, I got into buying a duplex that my grandma lived in. My dad co-signed for me, but the landlord approached me and said, "Hey, you wanna buy a rental? I'm gonna sell this. I'll sell it to you cheap for a reasonable price," which he did. So I think it was $30,000-ish. And my grandma was the best tenant you could ever ask for. And the other tenant, it was an upper lower. So my grandma lived in just the lower, and then there was the other unit was an upper lower. And that tenant I had some trouble with, but it wasn't perfect layout or design, because you wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to walk upstairs, because the bathroom was upstairs. So I've owned duplex. I've rented out duplexes. Did a burst strategy on that one. fixed it up a little bit, kept it as a rental for a while, and eventually resold it for around $20,000 profit. And then I've owned a triplex before. So I've had rentals. I've done flips. I flipped a house over in Kaukauna, in Wisconsin here. And that was an REO property. REO property, if you don't know what that is it's called bank-owned property. So that would be a listed property. You go through a realtor, bank lists it, bank wants to get rid of it. And I think I paid around $25,000-ish for that one, maybe a little more. I think I asked the realtor, I said, I want to buy this. Now, what price do we need to come in at to get it? And he's like, well, I think if we bump it up a couple thousand, he was pretty confident at that price. That's what we did. We went in there. And that deal was kind of a break-even deal because I subbed a lot of it out. Learned a lot throughout the process. I mean, it was a 4-hour drive just one way to get there. So I would stay overnight. I would do what I had to do to get things done. I did remodeling, cut down some trees. The realtor was actually a guy that did a lot of flipping, so I hired him to do quite a bit of the work there. But yeah, we cut down the trees. We never had to do anything with the roof. So, and then from there, I started kind of getting into the wholesaling. So the wholesaling in the house I'm living in, I tried to wholesale it back when I knew nothing about wholesaling. But I've told the story a little bit before, but now we've got probably $40,000-$50,000 in equity after living here for how long? Just for putting a few bandit signs out. So, but today I wanted to touch on another topic. So the 3 main ways of getting deals are direct mail, which also includes sticky notes because it is kind of a form of mail that you're getting to somebody's house. Call it reverse driving for dollars, if you will. You can do it with government lists. You can do it when you're driving for dollars. Put a sticky note out if you want. So direct mail, cold calling, and texting. And I would say another, if you want to get into pulling lists, I do like the pre-foreclosures, probates. You can do evictions. You can do tax liens. But another list that I may have not talked about a lot. So those are some of the best lists out there. Is your driving for dollars and your government list. Now the third list I would want to talk about is stacked lists. Now, how do you get a stacked list? So there's probably 2 different ways to get a stacked list. One way is just to kind of go after the main list to pull like your probates, pre-foreclosures. You can do code violations. You can do health department. Health department is more like inside the house, like mold, or it could be bed bugs, whatever, right? So something to do with health. People breathing in black mold won't hurt you, but as far as I know, but toxic black mold will hurt you. So wear your respirator, carbon filter mask, a good one. Probably wear a suit. Duct tape your sleeve to your gloves. But yeah, don't mess around with black mold. That stuff there gets in your lungs and not good. But so stacked lists could be one of 2 ways, I guess. One way would be just to go after your main lists and organically, like if you do a probate, you're going to eventually market to a probate that also is in pre-foreclosure. So when you get a deal under contract, it could be even just a lead, but I would say even more so when you get a lead under contract, you get a deal across the finish line, analyze those deals, because you can look them up and see if, okay, this was a probate and it was a pre-foreclosure, or this was a pre-foreclosure and it had a tax lien. So track your data And eventually over time, organically, you'll find that, oh, okay, so in this area, there's a lot of properties that have this combination, of the 2 or 3 stacks. And so then you might want to target more of those to get more deals, right? So there's the smoke for the fire that you gotta help them put out, the sellers. The other way, that's way number 1, organically. You'll just kind of reverse osmosis. You'll do the deals, get the deals under contract, and then find out what that commonality is through many, many deals that you do over time. The other way to do a stacked list is simply to get a software. I like to use X Leads. So on the software, and that gets into AI. They've got you can go after zip codes, counties, maybe the whole state. Maybe you could do it nationally, but pick an area, whether it's a zip code, a city, a county. Pick a zip code, and then they've got a stacking score of like around 700 or 750, and AI will actually pull these properties, and the high score is due to the stacked components, and not everything's evenly weighted. So you got to have like if it's a probate, could be, we've done deals. We just did a deal not too long ago here in Racine, I believe, that it was a probate. I forget how many years ago it was. It was a long time ago. Let's just say it was 10 years. I don't know if it was 7 or 12. But I looked it up, and it was a probate many, many years, if not a decade ago. And it ended up also being a tired landlord. So sent them out a letter. I love direct mail. Direct mail is expensive, though, so there's pros and cons, right? And she's like, yeah, I just want to be done with this. So it's like, cool. So we will made her an offer. She told us how much she wanted. You go through your home phone script. I'll do a video on that pretty soon too. And then a lot of these wholesalers out there will try to secret what they do, which is that's fine, but it's not that big of a secret. But so those are the 2 ways, right? You can organically track your data and do a deep dive, look into the details of the deals that you're either getting under contract or that you're getting across the finish line, and look for those commonalities. See what the pain points are, what the problems they got, and it's all public data, right? Some of it you can figure out by driving for dollars. You can see if a building's distressed, like code violation. And then the other way is if you've got the money. Now, I don't recommend just going out and buying software if you ain't got the money. So maybe you want to do it the organic way. But once you if you've got the money from your day job, or if you've got if you get doing a deal or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 deals, you get the deals, you get the money through getting the deals. Then maybe invest in that software, because it's nothing that I used when I first got started, and so and then when any software, you're gonna have more competition too, right? So that's why I think that probates are better than like a vacant list, because anybody and their brother can buy software on the cheap, pay per month for the software, and they've got access to the same list you do with the push of a button. Yeah, it helps to know how to set the filters and stuff like that, but they're gonna have access with the push of the button, have a list, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people, same list you got with just the push of a button. Whereas if you're gonna pull your data from the courthouse, either going down physically to the courthouse, which I do recommend you do it when you first start out, and then you might have access to the public record information online. So, but still pulling those lists, whether it's at the courthouse or online, that takes time to do, manually pulling that list. So, but the pros and cons, right? So it takes more time. It's not push button, but then therefore, who's going to take the time to manually pull that list? Does everybody have? You can pull the list fast, and you can take your time and save money and pull the list a little slower, and weed out and filter out the chaff, right? So, pros and cons. Don't need software when you first start out. If you got the money and you want to buy the software, then you got to have more leads, right? And you can do a combination of the two. You can do government leads, pulling things manually. It takes more time versus you can have the paid software to do the volume of leads quickly, and you can just do a combination of the two, just to keep your pipeline full and keep you busy. But definitely the free way, the government leads and the driving for dollars is a really good way to start out and organically get your stacked list. And then, like, after you go through that stuff, then I would do the paid, or eventually you might want to do the two together. Just keep your pipeline full. You're staying busy. You got plenty of leads, and therefore you get more deals coming down the pipeline. So this is Kelly. Just wanted to make a quick video on this Sunday, and you guys all get to meet Dasher here. He's our puppy becoming a dog here, a little mini poodle. And I just better get at that guitar playing too a little bit. Do a little Pearl Jam. So this is Kelly. You guys have yourself a great one. This is Kelly. Smash the like button. Hit it hard. Peace. Have a great Sunday, you guys.